Tech news, and Apple's iTunes Music Store has just turned 10. The digital media store, it launched on April the 28th, 2003. And now it sells TV shows, movies, apps, and books. But back then, it only sold music. And its arrival marked a sea change for the recording industry. Since the introduction of iTunes, music sales have plummeted in the United States. It went from nearly $12 billion in 2003 to just over $7 billion last year. And that's because iTunes made it possible for people to download their favorite singles for a cheap price instead of buying more expensive CDs. Now, iTunes became the largest music retailer on the planet by 2010. And according to NPD estimates, iTunes is currently responsible for 63% of all digital music sales. That puts it well ahead of newer competitors like Amazon and Google. But another threat has emerged in the form of internet radio. So what does the next decade hold for iTunes? Nilay Patel is managing editor of the tech blog The Verge, and he joins us now live from CNN New York. And Nilay, 10 years on, we went through the stats just then, iTunes is still the leader of the digital music pack. But are the cracks starting to show?
You know, I think they are. I think a lot of the power that iTunes had at the beginning was the really tight lock-in it had with devices like the iPod and, you know, the early versions of the iPhone. But if you look at how people are starting to buy and consume music now, there is a bigger shift ongoing to subscription services like Spotify, RDO, and Apple itself is being, rumored to be working on deals to launch its own streaming service in the future. And so iTunes, as a program that you run on a desktop computer, that you plug a phone in over a wire and sync music over USB, that model is starting to kind of fade away. And iTunes itself needs to change to be more of an internet-centric service. And they're already starting to do that with iTunes in the cloud, which takes all of the music from your computer, puts it in the cloud, and sends it down to you. But they need to move the entire hub of iTunes up to the cloud and start streaming music to you to compete with upstarts like Spotify and RDO.
Yeah, you mentioned Spotify, RDO, these subscription upstarts that are rivals to the iTunes Music Store. But of these top subscription streaming services out there, no one has really reported big profits yet. So is that the winning strategy at the end of the day?
You know, there is a big debate over whether people want to own their music or whether they just want to buy access to music. And when iTunes launched 10 years ago, Steve Jobs stood on stage and said very confidently, people just want to own their music, which I think is a model that's rooted in having physical media in your life, CDs, LPs, whatever. But I think that's starting to change. I think if you look at habits, especially among the young, most kids are getting their music off of YouTube, right? They're going to Vivo. They're just Googling it and hitting play on the first service they can see. So the idea that they want to own something physical is starting to go away. And music, more than any other kind of media, is very retail-based. It's very consumer-driven. So when consumer habits change, the services have to change. That's very much unlike something like TV or movies, right? A movie production company sells a movie to a studio, which sells a movie to HBO and a theater and a TV station. And so consumer habits, when you buy cable, they don't affect all the way back to how movies are made and sold. But when you change your consumption habits as a music consumer, it changes the market immediately.